So you had a busy day. You've washed your face, you've brushed your teeth, you're in your soft jammies. You're so exhausted. You hop into bed knowing you've got a super busy day tomorrow. And bam! The mind goes into hyper speed about all kinds of bullshit. But you know you need sleep. You'll be dragging tomorrow if you don't get enough sleep. And that's when the anxiety gets even louder. Sound familiar for some of you? I'm going to share how yoga can maybe help you with this. So you've been to a few or maybe many yoga classes and you are hooked. Somehow you feel better, kinder, more connected to yourself and those around you. Your friends view you as a hippie now, and your parents, well, they think it's a phase. Regardless, when you are on your mat, you are home. Yoga teachers and students, come learn how yoga can help you navigate the daily grind, breakups, your anxiety from a place of clarity and compassion. Welcome to the Modern Yogi Podcast, hosted by me, Laura Siljander. Misfits, earthlings, yogis, take a deep breath, check in to see how you're doing, body, mind, and soul, because you have arrived. Oh, I have been waiting to do this episode for a long time now because a lot of us struggle with this. I do too. But I just want to do a little caveat here. I know that some people are diagnosed insomniacs, and I'm not. And that's not who I'm exactly addressing today. So what I'm getting at is when we lay down to go to bed and our mind goes into overdrive. What really pushed me over the edge to do this episode is on Instagram, there's a handle called the Anxiety Healer, and I'll put her handle in the show notes, the Anxiety Healer, and she had a post, and this is what she said, that people with anxiety or people who go to bed with anxiety, perhaps are some of the things that happens. You replay a mistake that maybe did that day, or a mistake that you have regrets about, and you play that mistake over and over and over in your head. You get agitated by the silence. When everything goes quiet, you kind of get itchy, uncomfortable. You start to struggle to be alone with your thoughts, your intrusive thoughts. Not being able to fall asleep and worrying about waking up tired and not being ready. So you're just laying there thinking about how you should be sleeping and you're not. And so it makes it even worse because you know you've got a busy day tomorrow and you're going to be exhausted. And so you get even more anxious. Oh, been there, right? Flashbacks of past experiences because you're not distracting yourself. So many people with anxiety, a way that they have coped is they keep themselves busy all day. But it's like you're so nervous to be with your own thoughts that you can't stop going. And so when you're forced to stop going, like when we have to sleep, your intrusive thoughts take over, or flashbacks. And then you just get more and more stressed out about not sleeping. For me, and I don't know if it is for you, it almost feels like I'm under attack by my own mind. I'm under attack by my own mind. It's the worst, right? It's one of the worst things because we need sleep. We all know we need sleep. We can't go without it. If we do, we get all kinds of weird things like hallucinating, and we eat too many carbs and all the things. What I'm about to say took me a while, like years, to really comprehend. Have you heard a yoga teacher say, quote, "You are not your thoughts," end quote? I'd always think, what are they talking about? It's my mind, so it's my thoughts, right? No. We are conditioned to think the worst, especially if you grew up in a household where there was an addiction, neglect, where you didn't feel safe. Even you didn't feel safe to share your thoughts. We're also, like I said, conditioned to think the worst out of survival. However, in the modern day, we don't need to fear the lion in the dark that's going to come and eat us and our tribe. But some of us fear the lion being our intrusive thoughts. When it gets dark, when we turn off Netflix, when we turn off the lights, we crawl into bed, we adjust our pillow and blankets just right, and we put our phones down. When all the things we use to distract ourselves are gone, the attack begins. Sound familiar? Or maybe you know someone like this. Maybe it's someone that you're dating, or your best friend, your parent, or a sibling. Or maybe you know someone like this. Those, or it could be you, those who fall asleep to TV, or they'll stay on their phones until their eyes can barely stay open. If it's working for you to fall asleep to Netflix every night, if it's working for you to stay on your phone until your eyes can barely stay open, who am I to tell you to stop? If it's going to help you sleep, then good on you. But I'm going to give you a different strategy if you want to try it. So I'm going to walk you through my routine because I get intrusive thoughts at night too. And I have come up with a system that works for Laura, for me, and I want to share it with you. It won't work for everyone. It won't work every time for everyone, but it's helped me so much that I can't help but share it. So the more you do it, the more habitual it will become. So step 1, I acknowledge that the thoughts are coming. You know that they're coming. You've done this over and over again. Like, you know they're coming. Your head is filled. Or all of a sudden it's like, bam, you start to get intrusive thoughts. Like I said, flashbacks, thinking about mistakes you've made, things that the anxiety healer pointed out. So as soon as I realize these thoughts are coming, and sometimes I'll even do it before the thoughts come, I'll just lay down in bed and I'll do this just to make extra sure that I can go to bed. My hands go to my belly and my chest. One hand on belly, one hand on chest. But here's the thing. Put your hands wherever you feel the pressure or pain. Put your hands there. So some people may feel it in their shoulders. So you may want to cross your arms over your chest and put your hands on your shoulders. A lot of people feel anxiety in their chest. So that's a very common space. I feel it in my chest and belly. So I put it on both. One hand on each. So wherever you feel the anxiety, sometimes in the forehead, place your hands on your forehead. And then from there, I soften my body the best I can from head to toe. I try to soften my feet, soften my legs, really sink into my mattress. If that brings up any traumatic experiences, then soften your body the way that makes you feel safe. Maybe that's even reminding yourself to bring your shoulders away from your ears. Maybe that's to remember to part your teeth and unclench your jaw. Whatever it is to make you soften your body where you feel safe, maybe just start with softening your feet and your hands. And then you can be like, all right, I'm going to soften my jaw tonight. So soften your body the best you can. And then what I do is I take really deep belly breaths. It's almost as if I fill up my lower trunk as much as I can and slowly breathe in and out of my mouth or nose. When I say like these deep belly breaths, it's the diaphragmatic breathing that we're taught in yoga, but I also try to fill up like my lower back as well, which sounds really awkward, I know, but to fill up like my whole lower trunk. So you know when you do that 3-part or dirga breath, you take those deep breaths and your belly goes out like a beach ball. And when you exhale, the navel comes back in towards the spine, flattens out just a little, kind of like those deep belly breaths. So I notice the thoughts are coming, or I do it even before the thoughts. I try to calm and soften my body. And then I start to place my hands over wherever I feel the anxiety or wherever I feel pressure. And if you don't feel that way, just put your hands on your belly or chest. And then I start to take deep breaths. Sometimes I'll count. Like I'll inhale for 3 or 4 seconds, and then I'll exhale for 3 to 6 seconds, and I'll count them. Like I'll inhale in my head, I'll be like 1, 2, 3, exhale, 3, 2, 1 kind of thing. I will say that the longer your exhales are, the more chill your nervous system gets. So hopefully you'll hear your belly start to rumble. That's a good sign. But I'll start taking these deep belly breath, deep diaphragmatic breath, filling up the whole lower trunk breaths, and I'll start to count. For some people, this works really well. Like, you know, the whole counting sheep thing, that works for some people. But for me, counting doesn't quiet my mind as much as when I pair breath and mantra. That really cuts back on my intrusive thoughts. If mantra is not your thing, let me just describe to you what it is from a couple different perspectives. So maybe one of these could work, or you could try them. Because some people hear mantra and they're like, no, that's weird, which is fine, fair. But let me talk to you about a couple ways to look at it. You can see if it's less weird or something you want to try. So mantra, real quick. The traditional way to view mantra is to repeat a sacred sound or word given to a student by a teacher. That's the very traditional way to view mantra. Some examples could be the sound of Om or So hum, which means I am. Another way to view mantra that's a little bit too out of the box for you is to repeat the same words maybe in your native tongue. Some of my favorites are inhale in my mind, I'll say slow, and I'll exhale in my mind and say down. So inhale slow and exhale down. And I'll do that over and over, and I'll try to signal to my body, signal to my mind, slow down. I'm going to give you my personal mantra. It's part of my spiritual practice. It's part of my Ishvara Pranadhana practice. And I use the mantra Yahweh. It's an ancient way to refer to God. My whole family uses it. So Yahweh. Now, I take this 2-syllable word and use it with my breath. So I'll inhale Yah, exhale Way. I almost view it as calling to my higher power, and I'm like, help me out here. I'm trying to rest. Please help me. I do this as long as it takes to fall asleep. When the intrusive thoughts come back in, and I forgot my mantra, I forgot my breath, I start over. Soften my body, deepen my breath, back to my mantra. And I do this over and over again until I pass out, which it's pretty quick now. So can you think of any 2-syllable word that has significant meaning to you? Or maybe a 2-syllable word that brings you peace. It could even be like a place. My guess is that most of you need time to think of a mantra, but I do invite you to begin Googling 2-syllable words or maybe 2 words that have meaning to you. Try some different ones out. You are more than welcome to use So hum, which means I am, or Yahweh if you feel comfortable calling on the God of your understanding to help you out, to please let me rest. Help me get past these intrusive thoughts. Summarization. Notice that the thoughts are coming, or just make this part of your nighttime routine. Soften the body. Put your hands in the body where you feel the anxiety or the stress, or just put your hands on your belly or chest or wherever you're comfortable placing your hands. I like to put at least a hand on my belly so I can remind myself to really take those deep breaths so I can feel my hand moving up and down. Count the breaths or use a mantra that makes sense to you. If your intrusive thoughts start to leak in, start the breath and mantra over again. It's all good. Just like meditation, just start over again. This little practice puts me to bed every night, whether the intrusive thoughts are there or not. And it's such a beautiful way for me to connect with my higher power right before I go to sleep. If you're not into the higher power stuff and you just want to go to bed, again, just try to find that mantra that will work for you. And counting can be that as well. Okay, so I hope that these little yoga practices can help you rest. If you have trouble resting, I have a 45-minute meditation for yogic sleep. So you can find that if you want on my YouTube channel. I'll link to it in the show notes. It's a 45-minute meditation, but literally I've got soft music playing in the background. It's my voice just telling you to do all kinds of stuff with your body and mind to try to silence those intrusive thoughts. It's not quite the step-by-step I gave you today, but it's like what I gave you today on fleek. Feel free to give that a try if you want to. Thank you for listening to this little mini episode of the Modern Yogi Podcast. Practice that compassion with your thoughts, with your words, and with your actions. Namaste, everyone. Shalom, pure vida, and meow.